Yo te fait mauvais pratique. Ou glisser, ou tomber, ou gros blessure, ou prendre une gros catastrophe. Ou que famille, amis, quand docteur est mauvais remède, qui cause de mourir parce que te bal mauvais soin. Yo fait discrimination contre nous ka aider avec tout problème ça yo. C'est juste que nous dans 866 945 47 68. Bon me dit ou pas tracasser tête tout puisque nous parlons plusieurs langues. Nous parlons espagnol, nous parlons créole. Un jour là au groupe office principal nous dans Boca Raton dans Florida. Regardez, depuis après l'avocat, nous laisser nous rele.
Hey, Wob, comment est? N'a dit tout le monde bonsoir aujourd'hui. Wob, comment est?
Comment est? I'm doing well, thank you. I'll learn how to say that in Creole. I will.
N'a dit tout le monde bonsoir. Je dis à nous retourner l'autre fois encore avec mon yo pour nous dire mon yo nous là avec yo, nous dans studio là moi-même Wob et c'est Claude Jean-Baptiste et avec Wob Turing pour Your Enjoy leur groupe. So, n'a dit mon yo si yo ta gen question yo ka toujours relé nous dans radio là dans 561 576 1600 561 576 1600 et mon yo ka relé pour poser nos questions et numéro téléphone nous si yo pas ta poser nos questions jodi là yo ka relé nous dans 866 945 47 68. Numéro de téléphone, nous, c'est 866 945 47 68. Hey, Wob, how you doing today? And welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. First of all, thank you for having us, Gabilo. It's always a pleasure to be here for your show. And it's a great Monday. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, all good. Yes, Wob, can you repeat that? I was
no problem. I was just saying, I was just saying, hey, it's great to be here on this Monday night. The beginning of a week.
Yep.
And so, Gabila, thank you very much for having us on this show. It's always a pleasure to be here. It's always a pleasure to share some information with the listeners. And I got to tell you, it's been really great, the response we've been getting at the office, the number of calls we've been getting. It's really been a terrific experience for us, and we're very grateful for the opportunity. So thank you.
We can't complain. So, n'abdi mon yo merci, nous vraiment content parce que nous commençons à jouer un pile appel dans l'office à cause des choix. Mon yo vraiment intéressé, yo relé nous poser nos questions. But yon n'a pas nous mon yo anti-gens timide pendant nous dans radio à la pour yo relé. N'abdi mon yo pendant nous dans radio à la quelle que soit question yo gen yo ka relé nous dans 561 576 1600. Quelle que soit la question ta gen soit fait accident machine, yo glissé yo tombé, si yo non store yo glissé yo tombé ou bien yo gen problème dans travail yo ou bien yo gen caillou qui dommagé, yo gen problème avec assurance, yo ka toujours relé nous dans office dans 866 945 47 68. Wob, lately you've been giving a couple tips. What you have for us today?
Well, I appreciate that. Today we want to talk a little bit about giving some tips about what to do if you've been hurt in an accident.
Oh, okay. Je dis non là n'a pas mon yo deux trois conseils si yo ta non accident yo ta frappé, comment pour réagir et qui ça pour faire. Parce que depuis semaine passée nous t'a parlé de ça, mon yo vraiment intéressé yo spécialement grand pile appel, mon yo relé mon pile. Et il y aurait les offices là tout pour poser questions, mais il y en a pas m'a dit mon yo carré les nous pendant nos show là numéro c'est 561 576 1600 et comme moi mon yo bien intéressé avec office là yo carré les office là dans 866 945 47 68 et il y a besoin d'un monde qui parle créole ensemble avec eux si vous voulez, si vous besoin parler anglais ou bien ça pas facile pour faire si vous besoin parler directement avec Wob. Il a fait extension 1000. Il a besoin de directement pour parler ensemble avec. Go ahead, Wob.
One of the things, thank you for pointing that out about the extensions, about the kind of cases that we handle. One of the things that I always think is fascinating is how you appear as a radio personality, but in truth, you are a paralegal at our office.
Yeah.
So I always think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because you really are very professional on the radio, and it's great.
I try to be Gabilo teach me good. So I try to be a radio person. Yeah.
So the tips we're going to talk about tonight are I'm going to focus on auto accidents, but these really apply to any type of an injury that people have.
Yeah. Je dis à la conseil avocat ba nous mon yo li appliqué pour accident machine but li presque appliqué pour tout problème au monde gain on monde ka frappé ou bien on tomber ou à l'un côté ou bien on machine dans l'arrière là on machine frappe ou bien son bicyclette machine frappe son motocyclette machine frappe ou à l'un store glisse ou tomber là-bas un conseil général là qui general information.
Exactly. Even slip and falls and even other types of injuries besides automobile and motor vehicle accidents. These tips can actually apply to just about anybody who's hurt in any type of an accident.
Yeah, parce que conseil ça n'a pas mon yo. Tip n'a pas mon yo c'est pas qui a appliqué pour n'importe si on monde à non stall glisser tomber ou bien ils font accident machine ba ça qu'a appliqué pour toute bagaille ça.
One of the things I want to talk about first is what happens at the scene of whatever type of accident. We're going to talk about auto accidents or motor vehicle accidents, but it can be anywhere. If you're involved in an accident, one of the first things that happens is a lot of times people go into shock. You know, the adrenaline is flowing, they're agitated, they're shocked, they're surprised, and you don't really know that you've been hurt oftentimes, even if you have been.
Yeah, mais ça passe là, mon involve dans accident, non, ça arrive souvent, mon yo toujours dans choc, dans moment, ça passe. Des fois, mon nan kon frappe, il pas porter attention à ça, il pas porter attention s'il frappe ou bien il pas senti douleur même côté. In that case, what some people when they get involved in an accident at the first time they don't feel any pain. They think they don't have any injury or something.
That's right. It happens frequently.
And then they don't want to see a doctor or they don't want to go to the hospital.
Well, part of it is, you know, if you think about it, when you've been involved, and I, by the way, I learned this as an avid cyclist. I learned this as part of my bicycling training.
Okay.
And that is when you've been in an accident, you need to take a few minutes and let your body calm down from the initial shock. Okay. Because your body will tell you oftentimes, hey, I'm more hurt than I think I am. And a lot of people don't want to acknowledge it. I don't want to acknowledge it. If I've been in an accident of any kind, a fall, whatever, your instinct is to tell you, hey, I'm all right. I'm not hurt. I can handle this. Okay. But the reality is that may not necessarily be the case. That's the first thing.
Okay. Yeah, des fois, le monde a fait accident, toujours penser le pas frapper parce que corps, généralement, corps toujours présenter dans ce sens ça, il penser le pas frapper parce que Jean-Wab Abdullah, ce sont des qui son cycliste monsieur courir des canapil so monsieur habitué à genre de bagaille ça yo so go ahead Wab.
Yeah,
I have a question for you. I'll let you go and then I ask you the question.
I appreciate that. So what happens is if you can let yourself calm down and get yourself assess yourself first of all, and even if you're not sure if you're hurt, you feel a little aches and pains, over time will tell you. It'll give you an indication of whether or not, as things calm down, as your body calms down, you'll see whether there's any swelling, any bruising. You'll see if there's any injury, any feeling in your back that you've hurt or neck or whatever it might be. And if there is, get yourself checked out as quickly as possible. Even if you don't think it's major, even if you think it's just, hey, it's something very minor, let a professional tell you if it's major or if it's minor. And we have some examples of that that are really important.
Nous gen bon exemple sur ça et ou a expliquer là. Même là où t'as fait un accident, où t'as senti pas frappé, font gens fait al font check-up pour parce que qui font professionnel gado pour dans qui niveau croyez parce que pas jamais connaît parce que nous gen situation ça qui présente chaque jour devant nous. Moun yo kon pense ou pas frappé après 2-3 jours. L'entendre c'est dans l'hôpital mon et des fois quand on est vraiment grave les plus souvent les mon yo contacter nous toujours dit mon yo si on va dans l'hôpital rapide cherchons un docteur pour y aller là-dedans pour qui checker yo. So what parle ba nous de trois questions là parce que nous rencontrer ça souvent. Go ahead.
We had a client, you and I had a client that called in and said, hey, I don't feel any pain, or I'm not really feeling any pain. I feel a little chest discomfort, but nothing serious. We suggested he go to a hospital right away. It turned out to save his life. He was actually having a very serious issue, internal issue, that he knew nothing about because there really weren't that many symptoms for it.
Yeah, no gain, j'en des cas ça. Parce que des fois les clients disent n'a pas frapper, me sent un petit douleur dans l'estomac, mais il pas tellement fort. Les gens débat sont présentés premier bagay si gérer mon aldo al ou un docteur ou bien à l'hôpital les mon arrivé l'hôpital là les fini c'est son gros bagay lié gen monde qui même arrivé faire opération dans ce sens ça fait toujours bon nous toujours bay moun yo conseil quel que soit ou t'as un accident gen doit sentir pas frapper jodi à bot demain si vous ka commencer sentir douleur il pas coûter rien faire un professionnel check pour ouais dans qui niveau frapper ou bien sourire un avocat bon conseil légal yo sous compte avocat mais le cas dit qui ça pour faire tout dans situation ça sous ta frappé do.
And that's not the only time that's happened. We've had other clients where something very similar has happened. We have one right now that's currently in the hospital, having been really not badly hurt, she thought.
Yeah.
And now she's facing a very serious situation. And I'm not going to get into any details, but the bottom line is this is something that it's hard to necessarily know. You're talking about the collision of thousands of pounds of metal crashing into each other, and you're inside of one of those pieces of metal. And things happen that you don't necessarily realize, hey, I really have been hurt. There's forces at play here that can be very, very traumatic and catastrophic.
Yeah, parce que l'on imagine ou gen machine yo c'est métal machine yo so yo gan pile poids imagine on dans machine ça les fini machine ça le frappe on l'autre machine pareil qui déjà gon tal métal là dans nos corps ça veut dire corps vient prend tout douleur au sens c'est corps qui vient prend yo ça fait vraiment important pour moun yo ça va coûter nous et c'est un professionnel qui pour garder nous pour comment qui nous vont nous frapper.
You know, over time, over the last, I guess, 30 some odd years of practice, I can tell you I've had lots of discussions with what's called accident reconstructionists, experts in the field of accident reconstruction. And they talk a lot about the forces at play on a body that's inside of a car. And it's incredible because you don't realize you're talking about literally you're moving at a high rate of speed or whatever speed you're going, and there's forces at play from collisions that occur and the weights and the masses involved, and it can be pretty catastrophic without even realizing how badly hurt you are.
Yeah, but what about when people they don't want to go to the hospital? Sometimes they hurt, they don't want to go to the hospital. They think that they're gonna spend too much money on the hospital, so that gonna mess up the case or something like that. What advice you can give them on that?
We've seen that. We've seen where people are afraid because they're afraid of the bills. There's a couple things to keep in mind. In automobile accidents particularly, there's something called PIP, people are familiar with, Personal Injury Protection Insurance, and that's designed to pay up to $10,000 towards your medical expenses. Okay. So if you have medical expenses, you've got some coverage for it. Okay. And that's real important to know. Then that's the first line of defense against the medical bills.
Yeah.
Start with that.
So, ça vraiment important pour moun yo konnen. Gomba yo les PIP, Personal Injury Protection. Li paye 80% dans bill yo bou, dans bill l'hôpital yo bou. Si ça fait moun yo non pas besoin personne gen sin ta frappé, non pas besoin payer pour aller dans l'hôpital, nous gen people la ka paye 80% pour nous dans bill yo.
And the next line of defense, there's other things that you have as well. Some people have health insurance. That's available to pay for its bills.
Go to the health insurance.
Absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely. And the other part of it of the equation is if it's someone else's fault, they're responsible for your out-of-pocket expenses as well, or can be held responsible, depending upon the circumstance. And again, the information we're talking about here is just general information. It's not about one particular case or anybody's case in particular. If you have a question about your case, give us a call at our office, 866 945 4768, Your Injury Law Group, or you can reach us at avocatpaula.com or yourinjurylawgroup.com.
Yeah, n'a dit mon yo si yo ta gen l'autre question yo ka toujours relé nous poser non parce que information n'a bay là c'est information générale yo si mon yo gon question yo ka relé nous dans office là dans 866 945 47 68 ou bien si mon yo ta vle parler avec avocat pendant la radio là parce que nous na radio à chaque lundi à 6h yo ka relé dans 561 576 1600 numéro radio c'est 561 576 1600 yo ka relé pour poser n'importe question avec avocat n'a prêt pour nous répondre yo.
But it's really important to understand that one of the things that we do at Your Injury Law Group is if someone is responsible for someone else's injuries, someone else's medical bills, that's our job is to help those medical bills get paid through whatever monies we can recover from the at-fault party, either through insurance or otherwise.
Yeah, parce que job avocat c'est pour le faire mon jeune cob, quel que soit monde qui t'entoure que t'es frappé pour là, c'est pour le faire jeune cob qui mérite pour. What about when the person doesn't have any insurance?
That happens sometimes. You're about the at-fault person?
The at-fault person.
That happens
and
sometimes.
And sometimes that's happened too. the other one, our client doesn't have some of them, they don't have insurance either.
Well, that's a good question. If you're in an accident and you own a car, you're required to have insurance. But if you don't own a car, there still may be other avenues for you to recover for your PIP, to recover money towards your medical expenses, as long as you don't own a car. And it's by law, and there's what's called a hierarchy, or basically like a floor plan that you have to follow, a map you have to follow. If this, then that. If not, then this. And we go through that with our clients and explain to them where money is available for their medical bills and for their lost wages, as a matter of fact, through PIP, especially in situations when they don't own a car, or don't, in that situation, or if they own a car through their own insurance, or if they're a passenger in someone else's car whose insurance you go for. These are all real important questions that can be answered by an experienced attorney.
Yes, c'est ça fait nous toujours dire, mon yo. Can you give the phone number again?
Absolutely. Give us a call at 866 945 47 68 866-945-4768. I'm at extension 1000. You're at extension 1002? 1003. Yeah. Or just wait for the prompts to say, for Creole, press whatever. I think it's 3 or whatever number it is. So, yeah. And of course, we actually have someone who speaks English, myself and others, and Spanish and Portuguese now as well. So, we try to cover all the bases. We try to be able to be accessible to clients from a variety of sources.
And nous avons des clients tout côté dans Florida, nous avons des clients de Port Myers, Port Charlotte, en Lehigh, in Mocali, Miami,
pretty much anywhere.
Everywhere. We have côté dans state là, nous avons clients tout côté dans state là, Jacksonville, tout côté net, nous avons clients dans state là. So nous avons dit pas oublier les kembe numéro téléphone, même là on va avoir une question qu'on y a ou bien kembe numéro téléphone là c'est 866 945 47 68. Kembe numéro téléphone là n'importe question nous t'a gagné pour 11 ans mi famille nous rele nous et même là pas vivre aux États-Unis tout ou gon femme quand même qui vivre ici. Ça qui arrive parce que me connais radio arrivé bien loin et yo tande radio à tous côtés yo ka toujours relé nous dans téléphone nous là appel yo n'a tourner appel yo à n'importe l'air si nous pas pick up n'a retourner appel là bas moun avant 24 heures. Go ahead, Rob.
And all of this kind of ties in, you always hear me talk about how important it is to have an attorney when you speak to an insurance company. Think about this. Someone who doesn't necessarily realize they're hurt, but they call their insurance company and talk about what happened in the accident, and they're asked, "Are you hurt?" Well, the initial answer may be no, but they're going to write that down as no, they're not hurt, and that's what they're going to try to hold you to, even if later on you find out that you were seriously hurt.
Yeah, ça fait nous toujours dire mon yo les a parler avec assurance compagnie, il faut yo un avocat bon côté yo parce que des fois au carré l'assurance là ou dit yo pose une question est-ce qu'on frappe ou dit non pas frapper, il a écrit ou bien il a recordé conversation.
So we always
après yo cal tourner ou dit comme ça yo t'es pas là avoir déjà te dit pas frapper mais qu'on y a ça ka endommage qui soit n'a dit mon yo avant ou commencer parler avec une assurance. S'il vous plaît, relez un avocat, un monde qui a expérience, qui compte ça la faire beaucoup tôt avant ou commencer à parler ensemble avec eux.
So I think you just said the next part I was going to say, and that is that that's one of the reasons I always give the advice. Listen, have an experienced attorney help you with your claim so that you don't have to deal with the insurance companies yourself, and your claim is not compromised in any way.
Yeah, c'est ça que fait pour pas déranger Clément. Chercher un monde qui a expérience pour un avocat qui a expérience qui pour beaucoup de le va faire appel yo et toujours dit client ça il disponible pour à n'importe là il disponible pour à n'importe là avant yo commencer parler avec c'est soit un adresseur ou bien assurance compagnie relé dans téléphone pour dans téléphone ensemble avec eux ou bien s'il va capable ba un rendez-vous qui est pour relé pour parler ensemble avec pour beaucoup de monde pour make sure ça question mon n'a répondre dans ces questions là c'est poser répondre. Go ahead, bro.
There's a lot of things to know. When you're dealing with insurance companies, you're dealing with adjusters that have you typically very vast experience handling claims like yours, and their job, of course, is to minimize the amount of money they have to pay on a claim. There are a lot of things they can do that if you're not aware of them.
Yeah,
you can fall into some traps.
Ça bien monde ça yo là pour faire business, grand pile bagay yo ka fait pour yo ka payer moins que yo ta supposé payer. C'est ça fait nous toujours dit mon yo, il pas payer rien et appel pour parler avec office nous c'est gratis li, ou pas payer $1 pour appel là.
Yeah.
So the
They call this
consultation,
free. Yeah.
free consultation.
Right, free consultation.
But there's something I don't understand, Rob. Everything I say, you understand it.
I try. Listen, you give a lot of clues away, so it's helpful. I can pick up on some of the things. So, yeah.
So, appel la free, nap di moun yo, pa bliye rele nou, n'importe question ta gen rele nou nan 866 945 47 68. Yo ka rele à n'importe jour, nous pas chômer, nous toujours à travail. Rele nous parce que nous là pour moun yo, c'est ça que fait nous rele compagnie yo enjoy leur groupe. C'est leur groupe pour lié, li pas pour nous, pas hésiter rele nous dans 866 945 47 68. Go ahead. Bob.
Now, I don't want to give the wrong impression. I don't want people to think that I'm saying that all insurance companies do these types of things. No. There's some good insurance companies out there, and there's some good adjusters out there. There's lots of them. Yeah. But we have seen lots of experiences, particularly as of late, of insurance companies doing things to try to either not necessarily entrap people, but truly minimize whether they even have to pay a claim or how much they have to pay. So it's, we just say be on the lookout for it. It's our job to be on the lookout for it. And we handle the claims in a way that if that's what they're going to do, they're not going to get as much as they would like to get when they deal with us. So that's at least that's the way I like to work.
Can you go over the release a little bit for?
Absolutely. That's a good question, because one of the things, and we can explain this, one of the things that some insurance companies have been doing as of late is they assign one adjuster at the very beginning of the claim to try to get the claimant, the person who's heard or the person who's making a claim, to accept a small amount of money, relatively small amount of money up front without necessarily realizing they're giving away their entire claim. Yeah. And that has happened. We've seen it happen a number of times. I've actually seen it attempted even with me as an attorney. I've had adjusters call me and say, hey, I'm offering your client X amount of dollars, tell them. And of course, we tell the client.
Yeah.
But we're not stupid. We understand what's going on, and we know what the policy limits are, and we know what the claim is worth. So we know, we give advice to the client as to what is in their best interest. They, of course, make the decision, but we try to guide them with what's in let them know what's in their best interest.
Yeah, yon nan bagay nap di moun yo, assurance yo fè ça souvent, adjuster fè ça souvent, yo, les claim nan fè commencer yo rele moun nan, yo offri moun nan kob. Des fois, il y a intérêt mon nan, des fois, il n'y a pas intérêt mon nan. Ça, dans la situation, ça pour faire, relon avocat qui a expérience, parler ensemble avec, expliquer ça, spécialement nous-mêmes, l'argent débat est passé. S'il n'a intérêt, on a dû faire ça, mais s'il pas intérêt, on a mis au chita, on a expliqué pour nous, mais qui sont qu'à faire, mais qui chemin sous-prend, mais qui décision sous-prend, qui est bon pour vous. So, basically, ça arrive en pile monde, nous pas souhaiter ça arriver où. N'importe les ou dans une situation comme ça, relais ancien santa offre on cob avant signer n'importe papier relon un avocat qui a expérience pour qui chita explique ou li parle ensemble avant pour qu'a prendre une bonne décision, because that happen a lot.
It does. In fact, one of the telltale signs for me is when they set up a claim, or I'm told that the client tells me, hey, I've already spoken to the company and there's an adjuster. And then I get involved and they say, oh, well, we're assigning it to a new adjuster.
Yeah.
Why? Because a lot of times that adjuster's job is now finished. They can't settle the claim out from under and get the client to sign something without necessarily realizing that they're giving away all their rights.
All the rights.
And we've heard all kinds of stories. We've heard stories like, oh, they offered me X amount of dollars. All I had to do was sign some paper. We got some cash for you. Don't worry, we're going to take care of you. We have some cash for you. And it's incredible. Then they show me the release. I've seen a client sign a release, not even realizing it was a release.
Yeah.
And... these are tricks that can happen. Not every insurance company, but some have been known to do this.
Ça arrive souvent des fois les clients fin signer release là, c'est là ça yo connaît c'est ça, et les relé nous yo dit ouais yo fait si on ba m'bat consulter c'est là yo fin signer yo ouais son release là yo porter le banon nous ouais son release que mon yo signer. Nous pas remettre dans situation ça, et pas remettre ça arrive tout. Si ou gen ou ta gon question, ta involve dans accident, assurance relo pour parler ensemble avec vous. S'il vous plaît, relon avocat qui a expérience, même laissez pas nous rele ou ka toujours relon avocat qui a expérience. Numéro c'est 866 945 47 68, et nous chita là dans Boca Raton, Florida, et nous prend question toute Florida net, tout côté nous y dans Florida, n'a joindre service. Rob, the last word.
Okay, well, I would say the last word is this, and I hope it's been helpful for people to have these tips. These are really some things to keep in mind. If you have a question, give us a call at our office, 866 945 47 68, We're here. We're here to answer any questions you have. We're happy to give you good advice. Not every call results in a case, and that doesn't stop us from giving advice. We just did this today.
Yeah.
Somebody had called. They had a situation with an insurance, and I gave them advice saying, this is the better way to go for you right now. Do this, and if it doesn't work out, give us a call back, and we'll be happy to help you. And that advice was just basically free advice because they already had this available to them. They just weren't sure what to do.
Okay.
And after talking to them, we suggested, hey, this may be your better course of action. Just go ahead and do this. It's less expensive for you. This is a better way.
Yeah.
So not every call am I expecting it to turn into a case, but I'm here to answer questions. If we can help you, we will be more than happy to do it. But call us at our office, 866 945 4768.
Yes, ça arrive nous souvent, nous avons un client qui relève nous aujourd'hui. Nous disons ça appelle la free. Nous toujours payer les avocats parce que nous pensons à payer pour ça. Appelle la free. Monsieur relève nous pas qu'à bal conseil l'état supposé balia. Li dit mais qui direction libre aller non pas même si monsieur même. Monsieur vraiment content et nous les mon relève intention c'est pour aider mon. Nous là pour nous bailler service, c'est pas intention pour nous signer mon nom ou bien son question besoin. Nous là pour la communauté pour nous bailler service et nos cas mon yo connaît très bien la communauté, non pas seulement parler dans la radio ou bien nous aider quel que soit ça qu'a fait dans la communauté, nous involve dans tout ça qu'a fait dans la communauté, nous involve nous aider l'église, nous aider l'école, nous aider tout côté dans la communauté, quel que soit ça on a fait toujours les yo enjoy leur groupe, nous là pour toute communauté. Notre numéro c'est 866 945 47 68 et nous là n'a beau 40 n'a dit mon yo l'autre semaine encore à même l'air n'a recommencer n'a vinn à l'autre pi bon tips pour yo mon yo tout carré les poser nos questions de qui ça ta remen nous parler tout. They can call and tell us which topic they want us to talk about.
Oh, absolutely, yes. If anyone has any suggestions of things that they'd like to know more about, let us know. We're happy to accommodate, be happy. This is your show.
Yeah,
it's your listener show,
yeah.
And we're just here to help give information that can be helpful to you. So by all means, give us a call and let us know.
Yeah, and quel que soit topic qu'on monte avle nous parler sur l'IA, yo ka toujours relé nous ou bien relé radio a dit hey, jodi a pendant web nous connaît choix c'est après-midi allié, nous ka dit si web temps s'il vous plaît parler sur tel topic, une question là, mais nous passer sur les pour nous connaître dans cas ça qui ça pour nous ta fait. Son plaisir la bien pour nous t'a parler de ça. N'a dit mon encore numéro de téléphone c'est 866 945 47 68 et extension web c'est 1000, extension PAM c'est 1003 si mon yo besoin parler créole. N'a dit tout le monde bye bye next Monday.
You got it. Thank you.